Welcome to our sportstothemax.net's game preview. It'll be our game of the week this coming Friday night as the first round of the IHSAA football sectionals. And it's a pleasure to welcome in the head coach of the Laville Lancers, Will Hostrawser. Will, congratulations on a fantastic season. 6-3 is where you guys finished up. You really got to be proud with how things have went with your kids.
Yeah, very much so. Very proud of their off-season effort, and they're very proud of their in-season effort. They've done a nice job across the grind of a season, and boy, I can't believe it's here already. Sectional time's a special time of the year, and we're pretty excited.
Well, you know, one of the reasons why you guys have been so successful as you have has been everybody's bought in to what you have been wanting to get across as playing as one unit. That's something you and I have talked about all season long. I think it was really prevalent a little bit in your very last game against Culver, considering the fact you guys didn't have a very good first half, and whatever the inspirational halftime motivational speech it was that you gave to the kids, again, everybody kind of came up, and it sounded like your senior leaders were able to get across to, especially with the competitive underclassmen you have, that, you know what, listen, let's get back and do what we do best.
Sure, absolutely. And, you know, the one thing in the locker room at halftime, one of the things we always try to do is include everybody in our decision-making. You know, when it comes down to it, I guess I have to be the bottom line as the head coach, but we take input from everybody, and that includes players. You know, we talk to them about what's working a particular night, what they seek, what they think they're comfortable with execution-wise on the field, and we put those plans into motion, if you will. And the kids really did a nice job with that on Friday.
You've had some really good play from an awful lot of kids, but, you know, Caleb Dudek, he is one young man who is just a lot of fun to watch, especially in the Culver matchup. This kid runs like a bulldozer. Well, he's faster than a bulldozer, but the kid hits like one.
Yeah, absolutely. Caleb does an outstanding job running behind his pads, and he's very hard to get take down. He's a wrestler. He's put in tremendous amount of time in the off season. He was one of those guys that lived in the weight room here and other places. You know, he goes to a health club in the summer and lifts with his brother too. So you know, it's a great thing when you have a senior that puts in that kind of time and effort in the off season, and the kids can see it pay off. It's a great message to everybody.
Then you got some great athletes. The Tay kid, my goodness, wow, you blink your eye, you miss them. Dakota Fig, another one, coming up with your defensive plays. All in all, you really got a nice core group of good athletic kids who are pretty strong. I mean, when you line up against them, you may look at them and say, well, okay, you know, but man, I'll tell you, they are not only quick, but they're very physical.
Sure, absolutely. I think one of the things that we try to do as coaches is teach our system to our kids, and we always talk to them about believing in what we do. And I can say to a kid, our kids believe in our system. They trust us with different tweaks here or there with things, and I think that's a lot of it. And at this level, you have to play fast, you have to play instinctively and not think. And when you think and sit and read, and you play slower, that's when you'll experience bad plays. So our kids, especially on the defensive side, have really bought into what we're trying to accomplish. We play fast, play downhill. Our tackling's gradually gotten better, still not where I want it, but I don't think that'll ever be the case. But they're working hard, and they work together with one another.
You know, the other thing I want to kind of talk to before we get into the Lake Station squad is the fact that your offensive line this year needs to get some recognition. I mean, your boys have really fought hard up front. Again, probably undersized, judging by all the NSC teams we've faced this season, or we've looked at on our sportstothemax.net games. You know, you guys aren't the biggest fellas, but boy, you sure hit bigger than what your size is.
Right. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I think the one thing with all our front line is, you know, again, it goes back to the system and believing in what we're doing. And you know, our scheme will change up a little bit week to week based on the front that we face. And, you know, today's a big mental day for us. We walk through things and talk about how we're going to attack the week and what we expect out of things. And those guys, you know, down in the trenches, we don't have a lot of depth. These guys play, I think pretty much every one of them plays both ways. If they don't start on both sides of the ball, they see time on both sides of the ball. And it's a grind. That's the grunt work. You don't really get any recognition or your name in the paper, but you're the reason other people do. And they get that, and they enjoy that. And that's fun. That's fun.
So you got Lake Station out of the gate. The good news is you get to be home and to start off the postseason. I think that's just a couple of good advantages right off the bat. Lake Station, they've had an up and down year, but they're coming off, I believe, a win in their final regular season game. This is a group that comes out of the region, and they play a little bit of different football. They think of things just a little bit differently when their approach to the game is concerned. Talk a little bit about this opponent of yours that you're going to face come Friday night.
Sure. Lake Station is a very good football team, to be honest with you. This is what I look at. You can throw the records out the window. Everybody's 0-0. I really don't care who they play during the regular season. Their last game, they just hung 62 points on an opponent. They can play football. They're very fast. They spread you out. They run. They've got a really wide-open scheme. They're 3-0 in their last 3 games. They put 137 points up on the board. They average almost 2 touchdowns a quarter. Somebody's doing something right over there. So they're going to be a formidable opponent. We can't look past anybody. Come Monday, a week from today, half the teams in the state are going to be turning their gear in. Don't want to be one of those teams, and I'm sure they don't either. So I talked to the kids today and going through what we do, and we have to make sure that we take every single day very, very serious, and we can't have downtime during practice. They're going to do the same. So I look for them to come in and play fast. Their offense is very fast-paced. They run a no-huddle. They spread you out. They'll run trip set. They run empty set. Their quarterback is one of the best that I would put him with a Preston Hansel type athlete. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. He's very, very good. So we're going to have our hands full. They're very big up front on the line, just like Culver was, and we're going to have to make sure that we compete every single down this weekend.
That's Will Hostrawser, the head coach of the Laville Lancers, on your game day preview right here on sportstothemax.net.